beautiful people, and welcome. In today's video, we're talking about division, but specifically we're taking division and we're going to rewrite it as multiplication. So some of you struggle with dividing, and that's okay, but we're going to be talking about how to take that division and turn it into multiplication. That way you can just multiply it and be done. Disclaimer time, I am human. If I make a mistake, that's okay. Just let me know where the mistake occurs so that way I can learn from my mistakes. All right. So we're going to be translating division into multiplication. Whenever you see division, the most common notation for division in this class will be in the form of a fraction. You're going to have A divided by B, or A over B, as some of you say. Now it is A divided by B, and if we have just like the fraction, if we have just the division. Now if we have A divided by B equals X, we have an equation that something is equal. So this right here, if we have just this is called an expression. It has no equal sign. If it does have an equal sign, that is called an equation. So now we have A divided by B is X. We know what the answer is. So now let's say here is how we're going to translate. So if we have A divided by B is X, it's the same thing copied down here, but this is now how we're going to translate. We're going to take our denominator. So this is our denominator. That's our denominator. Then we're taking our quotient. And quotient is just a fancy word for answer after you've divided. Quotient, again, is just a fancy word for your answer after you have divided something. So we're taking our denominator. We have our quotient. So we're going to say our denominator times our quotient is our new answer. That's why I'm not writing what this is called, okay? So for example, we take our denominator times our quotient, in this case it's X, is our new answer. So we're kind of going counterclockwise. We're starting from the bottom, working our way to the top. Starting from the bottom, working our way to the top. Let's do some examples here. So anytime you see something like this, you always have a secret. You know, mathematicians are what? If you have watched some of my videos, you know exactly that mathematicians are what? They are lazy. We are lazy. So when you have something like this, you want to simplify. You want to solve, but you want to simplify this expression. You want to simplify this fraction. So a lot of times what you're going to hear is, how many times does 5 go into 25? I'm just going to write that down. So that's what I grew up with. I grew up with how many times does 5 go into 25? I grew up with how many times does 8 go into 24? And to me, that's personally very confusing. I don't know how many times it goes into. Like, what is the size of 5? What is the size of 25? For me, that's confusing. So I'd rather do it in multiplication instead. So what I'm going to do, step number 1, is I'm going to make this equal to a variable, any letter. Now, a variable represents a numeric value. We don't know what that value is, but a letter is just a numeric value. And I'm going to say, I don't know, let's call this C. And again, what are our steps? We're taking counterclockwise, starting at the denominator, going to our quotient, and we have our new answer. 5 times C is 25. So now we're asking ourselves, 5 times what is 25? If you watched my multiplication tricks video, you know that 5, all we do for 5 since we count, it alternates 5, 0, 5, 0, 5, 0 in the ones place. So we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. How many fingers do I have? I have 5 fingers up. So that means 5 times 5 is 25. So my answer, when it's asking me to simplify, what is 25 divided by 5? The answer is now 5. Let's try that again. Give me a variable. Let's try X this time. Go counterclockwise, go opposite. 8 times X is 64. 8 times what is 64? 8 times what is 64? I don't know this. I truly don't. I promise you. I'm not lying. But if you watched my multiplication tricks video or multiplying with your hands, you know that 8 by 8 can be found using your fingers. So what is 64? I know it's going to be a multiple of 8. I know it's going to be bigger than 5 because 8 times 5 is 40. I know that because I can count by 5s. So I'm going to try 8 by 8. And so what you're going to do is you're going to count each finger that's touching, and below is 10. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 60, and these two we're going to multiply. So I have 2 fingers and 2 fingers. That's 2 times 2, that's 4. So I have 64. So that means I multiplied 8 by 8. So what is 64 divided by 8? 64 divided by 8 is 8. All right, let's try another one. Again, counterclockwise, we are making it equal to a variable. Now, if you don't want to make it equal to a variable, you can just put a blank. I mean, that's where your answer is going to go. So now I have 3 times what is 15? 3 times what is 15? 3 times what is 15, you guys? And everyone should be screaming out loud, 3 times 5 is 15. So we're going to write a 5 here. That means my answer is 5. 3 times 5 is 15. Let's try more. Now these ones here do have negatives in there, and don't let that scare you. We're doing exactly the same thing. Negative 72 divided by 9 is something. Whoa. Is something. That should be a straight line. It isn't. That's okay. Negative 72 divided by 9 is something. I don't know what that something is, so let's multiply and find out. 9 times something is negative 72. Now be careful. Be careful, be careful. Red flag, alert, alert. There is a negative in your now equation. There is a negative in there. So we have to deal with that negative. I'm going to quickly show up the multiplication. There it is. A positive times a positive is a positive. A negative times a negative is still a positive. If the signs are different, the answer is negative. If the signs are the same, the answer is always positive. So different, negative, same, positive. So do we have a negative or a positive answer? I have a negative answer. If I have a negative answer, that means are my signs different or the same? Well, let's see here. If my signs, where is it? There it is. If my signs are different, my answer is negative. So that means my sign is different. Now I'm looking at the 9 that I have here. Here's my 9. Here's my original 9 that's in the denominator. That 9 is already positive. That 9 is already positive. So in order to have two different signs, whatever I have for my answer here, whatever I'm going to multiply by has to be a negative, because these two signs have to be negative in order for my answer, these two signs have to be different in order for my answer to be negative. These two signs have to be different for the answer to be negative. So 9 times what is 72? Again, I don't know this, but I have my fingers. I'm going to say 9, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 times, let's try 9 times 7. Again, if you don't know what I'm doing, go ahead and make sure you watch my multiplying with my hands video. I promise you guys, I don't know these by heart. I just use my fingers. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means I have 60 fingers here. And then I have 60, what was I doing? I was doing this. 63 times 2 is 6. So I have, wait, that's wrong. I think I started doing something and I changed it. Let's try again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 fingers, not 6 fingers, 5 fingers. 5 fingers, and then that means I have 50 here. Each finger is worth 10. Then I have 2 fingers here. I have 3 fingers here. We're going to multiply these two. That is 2 times 3, 6. I have 56. I don't need 56. I need 72. Oh, that's what I was doing. Did you guys pick that up? I need to multiply by 9, not by 8. So this is 6, 7, 8. I need 9. So let's see if that's enough. Let me scooch. Actually, you know what? Let me move this paper so that way you can see my fingers better. All right. 9, 6, 7, 8, 9. We want to multiply by 9, so we're using this pointer finger. Let's do 9 times, 9 times 7. Let's see if that's enough. So each finger is worth 10. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So I have 60. And then 3 times 1 is 3. I have 63. Not enough. So let's move one up. Let's try 9 times 8 now. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. 77 times 1 is 2. So 72. That's exactly what we need. So what did I multiply 9 by? I multiplied by my middle finger, which is 6, 7, 8. So I multiplied 9 by 8. We already discussed that our 8 is going to be negative because I need my, oh, you guys can't see that. I apologize. We already discussed that my 8 needs to be negative because 9 is positive, and these two numbers need to be opposite in order for my answer to be negative. All right, it's a lot of work for that question. Let's try another one. Negative 2 times what is negative 8? Multiplication. I need a negative answer, and I have a negative. I need a negative answer, so it's one of these, and I have a negative here. So that means this number needs to be positive. So whatever number that is needs to be positive. So 2 times 1 is 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. I have 4 fingers up. That means 2 times 4 is 8. But I already said that my 4 has to be positive because 2 is already negative. These two must be different in order for my answer to be negative. So now I have positive 4. Let's do one more example and call it good. Again, 12 divided by negative 4. That means negative 4 times what is 12? Negative 4 times what is positive 12? So again, 12 is positive. So let's look at our cheat sheet here. We want a positive answer, and I already have one negative. So the only way that I can get a positive answer is if my signs are exactly the same. So that means if one is negative, the other number has to be negative as well. So here's one negative. The other number has to be negative as well in order for my answer to be positive. So 4 times what is 12? If you watch my multiplication tricks video, you know how to quickly do your multiples of 4. However, I choose to count with my fingers, so I have 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have 3 fingers up. That means 4 times 3 is 12. So I'm going to write 3 here, and I'm going to write negative 3 as my answer. Alright guys, this wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. We are going to be using this method all throughout the semester. When we're dividing, we're actually going to be multiplying. Get comfortable with this, do many examples, practice on your own. And as always, if you have any questions or if there was a mistake, just let me know and then we can work through it. Alright, thank you so much for watching my video, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.